Thanks for watching Afternoon Live as we celebrate the 55th anniversary of the exploding whale. That 70s story inspired our next guest to take a new look at its lasting impact on the people involved in the documentary Oh Whale.
When we put the story on the air, we started hearing from people immediately.
You have called it the most wonderful event in the history of the universe.
I'm so grateful there was film of it because no one would ever believe this could happen.
I have yet to understand why this story continues to have the life it does.
Paul will always be the whale guy.
He doesn't want to be, but he will.
I don't enjoy watching it.
In November 1970, a 45-foot-long sperm whale washed ashore on that beach near Florence.
The smell was just horrendous.
The Highway Division decided the carcass couldn't be buried, it couldn't be cut up and then buried, and it couldn't be burned. So dynamite it was.
They're going to blow up the whale on Thursday.
You might want to have a camera down there.
Well, I'm confident that it'll work.
We had no idea what was about to happen.
We welcome the filmmakers behind the documentary Oh Whale, producer Rachel Gardell and director Winslow Crane-Murdoch. Thank you both so much for being here today on the anniversary. What a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Could you each share how you first heard about the exploding whale story in the first place?
Sure. I first heard about it when I moved to, or around the time that I moved to Portland. So I grew up on the East Coast. I moved here about 8 years ago. I think I saw it then, but then there was the big 2020 50th anniversary, and there was a 4K remaster, which was incredible. And I think I saw it really around then and was like, this is unbelievable. I think there's a film here.
I need to know more
immediately,
right?
Need to know more,
what about you, Rachel?
I'm a native Oregonian, and so I definitely heard about this growing up. I feel like I remember my dad and my grandpa talking about it at some point, for sure. And
it's
so,
lore, absolutely.
It's absolutely lore,
How did you each decide that this was a documentary and to make it into such a great film?
You know, I think as you know, when I look at the original broadcasts, like Paul and Doug nailed that film.
Yes.
You know, the writing is amazing, the cinematography is amazing. They get the explosion on camera. There's not much more that needs to be said outside about the actual explosion itself. But we were really interested in the story of Paul, and he was 23 at the time, and this story followed him for the rest of his life. And so, as a filmmaker, I was really interested in that side of the story about this thing that sort of literally blew up, right? And then became viral before viral was even a thing, and then followed him for so long, and his journey of sort of coming to realize that he's the whale guy and that that's okay. And then the town of Florence has sort of gone through a similar experience. And so we went and filmed there. They were very embarrassed about it at first. People didn't want to talk about it. And now they've come to accept it. There's an exploding whale park, there's an exploding whale pale ale, there's an exploding whale memorial festival, which we filmed at, which is coming right up. So they've really come to embrace it as well. And that story about a town coming to embrace this thing and celebrating it and celebrating this big mistake proved to us that there was more of a film there than just the explosion.
Yeah, how did you get everyone to participate? Paul as the journalist, Doug as a photographer, Dave Barry. We can also see, how did you convince everybody to sign up for this project?
Well, Winslow did the initial outreach for sure, as you know, getting the team together. He came to us at Lucky Day and said, you know, was pitching projects to us, and this was the one that we were like, yeah, we got to do that one. You know, there's such a love for this, and then if you don't know about it, when you find out about it, you love it, you know, even more. And so it was definitely something that we got really excited about for sure, and connected with Winslow. He's an incredible filmmaker, did a ton of research and legwork to get the relationship with Paul and Doug, and we all just fell in love with Paul and Doug too. They just really are such wonderful, wonderful people, and you see it in the film, and just the way Paul talks about this and still talks about this today. It was great hearing him this morning, just still talking about how much this has meant to him and how much he still kind of hates it.
The honesty.
Exactly.
Well, you've been able to screen it a few places far from here, right? And a lot of people are seeing the footage for the first time. What's that like, sitting in the audience, people going, oh my gosh, they did what to the whale? That must be so fun.
That's literally what happens. And so we've screened it on the East Coast 3 times now at various festivals. And there are a few people who know the story, and so they're excited because
Yeah.
they've heard of it and they've watched the YouTube video. But there's been a lot of people in the audiences that have no idea. And in the film, it's about a 25-minute film. We blow up the whale about halfway through, which was an editing choice. we worked very hard on about where to put it.
Yeah.
But hearing that anticipation build in the audience has been probably the most fun part of it. And literally at our first screening, there was people in the audience saying, no way, no way. And then we hit the countdown and it goes up and people had just lost their minds, you know? And so it is a reminder of our experience of the first time seeing it, you know, because we've seen it so many times now. But when you haven't seen it before, it is still shocking.
I'm jealous you get to watch other people see it for the first time. So you're going to have your Oregon premiere tonight, right?
Correct.
Tell me about that.
We'll be at the Tomorrow Theater, 5:30 showing. There's still tickets available, so come on down if you want to come and see it. And then we're continuing our festival circuit over the next year, so hopefully there'll be other opportunities as well if we can't make it tonight. So
I can't wait to see the whole thing. It looks so fun. The animation that you've added to kind of fill in some blanks in the story, right? There's a lot that we don't have footage of that you kind of very creatively told the story that way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Paul and Doug had to cut the cameras to run for their lives from the blubber, so there's a huge chunk that's missing, and so we knew kind of immediately, like, okay, this is one of the funniest pieces of the story, and how can we do that? And Lucky Day was recommended this amazing animation studio in Portland, and we went with them, and they did a great job.
So cool. Love seeing all the K2 archival footage, of course, of some of our colleagues here as well. Thank you both for being here. So fun to celebrate with you. I was going to say have a blast tonight. I just caught myself.
It's the only way to go.
It's the only way to go.
Okay, you can catch the special screening and panel discussion of Oh Whale tonight at 5:30 at Tomorrow Theater on Southeast Division. We'll have all those details for you on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.